What's going on, everyone?
Well, some more. Welcome to the Contested Labels Podcast. Welcome to the Contested Labels Podcast. Welcome. Thank you for tuning into the Contested Labels Podcast. Remember, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Rate and review us on any of those podcast directories. And we are on Twitter and Facebook at ContestedLayup1. Remember to email us at contestedlayupspodcast@gmail.com. And the sticky stuff is in.
Sticky stuff is in. Get ready to see some stickers.
Tonight is another starting five, but not the same starting five as last week, or last episode.
Sub.
V is subbing in. He's our sixth man here.
Yes.
Mike is out today. Rest.
DMP rest.
Yeah. Mike is is resting this half of the back-to-back.
Yes, that's appropriate. So we got Raul.
Yo, it's me.
John.
What's up, boys and girls?
V.
Hello.
Eddie. And Dad.
And hello.
It's Dad, it's Garnick. So the B team starting five is in today.
What?
Uncalled for.
Yeah, for real, dude. Why?
So
V's here.
God, I'm not as good as Mike. I understand.
How's everyone doing?
Good. Semifinals, baby. Let's go.
That's a lie.
Raul's going to make the semifinals for his fantasy league. Garnick and I are still in, as of this recording, barely hanging on by a thread. All right, so I want to talk about Kemba Walker and the Hornets. The Hornets are not going to make the playoffs this year. They're 7 games back of the 8th seed.
Surprise.
I think it's relevant.
Spoiler alert.
Relevant to talk about because 2 years ago they were the 7th seed, clearly on the come up. They had traded for Nick Batum. Kemba Walker was making
they were on the come up like how Milwaukee's on the come up.
Here we go. It's like we're like 2 minutes into it, but take it easy.
He's already going with the Milwaukee talk again.
And then Milwaukee's not going to make the playoffs next year.
Milwaukee's not going to make the playoffs next year.
Yep, I said it.
Okay, I'll give you like 5 to
This is
1.
some good odds right now.
5 to 1.
5 to 1 that they won't make the
5 to 1 for how much?
Gentleman's bet for $20.
All right.
It's a ridiculous.
All right, 5 to 1 for $20. Okay.
Oh man!
The shake just happened, everybody.
I will let you buy out your bet for $2 right now.
That's not bad. I'd have to take that.
No, I'll take it.
Okay.
Dang.
Over a year in the making, this bet.
Wait, what episode is this? 18?
Number 18.
I'll remember that.
Oh yeah, this is episode 18. I forgot to say that.
We're adults now.
We are adults.
You can join the army.
We can vote.
We can go to certain strip clubs.
Ooh, that's true. We can play poker at certain places.
Yes.
So the Hornets not making the playoffs this year. Kemba Walker was an all-star this year. 22.6 points a game on 43% shooting, 17 field goals attempts a game. 5.8 assists, 2.2 turnovers. His PER is 20.8.
That's not bad.
That's all right. His win share is 7.4. So he's accounted for 7 wins for the Hornets. However, no one else outside Dwight Howard on that team is above a 3. So basically what that means is it's Kemba or bust. Look at the Heats. Look at their highest win share is 4.7. Hassan Whiteside. They have like 5 players who have a 4 or 3 or 4 win share. So their team can, and the players on their team will account for more wins than just the Hornets. The Hornets need Kemba Walker to get them wins. Basically, is what I'm saying. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So what should the Hornets do? Should they continue to build around Kemba? He's got 1 year left on his deal, $12 million. Or should they look to give him an extension this summer?
Well, based on their contract situation, I don't know if you can trade him and get fair value if he only has 1 year left. Presumably that would take away his bird rights.
Yeah.
And basically, it would incentivize them to test the free agency.
Yeah.
And if you're Kemba Walker, you want to get to that point. And I don't know if he'd be willing to resign right now unless they give him the full max. My point is, you have to resign him before you trade him. And if you do that, you just look horrible. You look like the Clippers did.
Yeah.
So they kind of put themselves in a corner by not resigning him earlier.
So then, do you think the Hornets are they have to resign him regardless?
Absolutely. You can't trade him because of what I just said. You have to re-sign him and start over. I like Batum. Dwight Howard had a pretty good year, but that team just doesn't work for some reason. The pieces all produced. If you look at their averages, Nick Batum, he was out for a little while, but overall, if you look at everyone's numbers on that team, everyone's putting up the numbers you would expect them to put up. Yeah, it just doesn't add up.
I don't know, man. I think the Hornets are just... They're having a lot of trouble working in their young talent to be effective.
Like Frank Kaminsky?
Like Jeremy Lamb, Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
Jeremy Lamb's not young anymore, man.
Yeah, none of them are young anymore.
They're not young.
And that's what
Yeah,
I
that's
These
the-
guys-
that's
these
the
guys
problem.
should
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
That's
they're
the
like
problem.
deceptively not young.
that's
Deceptively old.
Yeah, deceptively old. Like you're like relying on people like Marvin Williams and shit.
when you guys say young talent on the Hornets, I looked through their draft of their last several drafts since Kemba, and their best pick was Tobias, who they traded, but they have Cody Zeller, Frank Kaminsky still on the team, Malik Monk, Frank Jack. Like, there's no one there that you can use on a daily basis. I like Frank.
Okay.
Cody Zeller
Yeah,
can ball.
I agree with
But
him.
these are supposed to be. Frank was
Ninth pick.
Frank was the 9th pick. Cody Zeller was the 4th
Yeah.
pick. You have no. I mean, you have talent. I mean, these guys are in the NBA, but you have
Michael
no
Kidd Gilchrist. he was
monster
a two-pick.
talent. Michael Kidd Gilchrist. These are guys that could produce on a night, but they're really just the back end of this is garbage. I don't see what they're going to do, and you have to re-sign Kemba because that's the only draft pick that worked for Michael. It's literally the only one other than slightly Cody Zeller that's worked for Michael.
I don't think you should even say Cody Zeller's worked for him. Like,
Yeah,
he's
so-
19 minutes a game this year, 7 points a game.
So it's more of an everything problem with that team.
Yeah, apart from Kemba Walker, no one really sets themselves apart.
Yeah.
Like who can you rely on other than Kemba Walker?
I mean, they
there's
got-
just two players of similar build and similar skill.
The shooting on this team is limited. Michael Kidd Gilchrist still can't shoot a three. Zero 3-point attempts this year for Michael Kidd Gilchrist. That just can't happen in the NBA this time.
They just kind of go through the motions. Kemba every now and then will have like a decent game, but like
We'll feel the heat.
Starting unit's been primarily the same the entire year. Walker started 68 games, Batum 56, Howard 70. Howard 70 games this year.
Yeah, you can't really blame injuries either.
No.
That's the weird part.
And that's the crazy thing is that this team just
It's a change.
flat.
It's a change of emotion, though. Dwight Howard's the most meh guy in the NBA, where his emotions are.
yeah, I think
Surprisingly, he's been very consistent
He's
and
so
very
sick
good
that
this
I
year.
love this year. This year he's great.
Yeah, he's
but
had a comeback here.
but
really,
it,
statistically.
there's a difference between playing good, because you can play good, and then winning games. And somewhere along the line, even though he's had that much playoff experience, he hasn't figured out how to win.
So what do you think happens with Kemba Walker then? Does Kemba Walker get traded this summer?
I don't think so. I think Kemba has all the leverage. To be honest, I wouldn't sign an extension. I refuse to sign. I play out that 1 year and then test free agency. Why would you sign up for another rebuild?
Yep.
You've been trying to do this for like the
Because
past
they can
4 or
throw
5 years.
170 at him over 4 years.
But like at the same time though, is that enough to convince him to stay when he's at the point in his career where he's like, I kind of want to win at this point?
That's true. He is 27.
I don't think Mike's going to let him go. Well, what he wants to do is different. If he does what John says, I could definitely see that. But then even if he does that and you're MJ, you have to sign him. Unless you're blowing everything up, because I feel like that's what they really need is a complete change from top to bottom, just a flushing. But I think they'll re-sign him.
You know, he was on the block earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. And then it was done away with. Whoever was making the shot, whoever was calling the shots in Charlotte was like, no, it's not happening. So,
Well, like, I don't think he has that much trade value considering his contract situation. I think that came into play too.
I think his contract was really nice. 12 mil for a player of his caliber.
That's not my point.
but
the length,
but the length, yeah.
not that amount of money. 12 mil is a bargain.
Yeah, it is for him.
I'm with John. I think that's the only thing that Kemba could and should do. That situation in Charlotte isn't going to really work. Personally, if I were running the team, I would try to see what I could get for him. But I can't see him leaving just because I just don't know if there would be people willing to sign him for the amount of money that he wants.
In my opinion, I think Jordan lets him walk next year and just lets him go and you start over. Give it one more year with Kemba. Maybe you try to tool the roster a little bit next year. But Jordan's going to let him walk, and Jordan's got to hire a GM that knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because Rich Cho didn't know what he was doing. The players that they've drafted just have not worked out. Malik Monk is nowhere, as we talked about. And Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is still can't shoot.
Yeah.
His 5th, 6th NBA season, whatever this is. Cody Zeller's okay, but like Frank Kaminsky hasn't shown too much. It's the failure of their high draft picks really speaks more to the failure of the franchise. I don't think it's on Kemba at all. I think he's playing great, and I think he's definitely a player that a team can build around if you get the right pieces with him. And I don't think that the Hornets have done that at all.
Yeah,
and I think Mike should just let him walk.
I don't think there's any scenario where he just walks away from this team, meaning that he either resigns for the max or Jordan trades him mid-season or in the off-season.
Yeah.
I don't think you can let an asset like that just walk away with a very good contract. Even as a rental, he could command a first-round pick.
Okay, yeah,
from a
I can see
playoff
that then.
team.
Yeah.
Or even like a low lottery pick.
A trade in season, I think, is the only way that's going to happen. I don't think a trade will happen this offseason for Kemba.
Nope.
I think they're going to try and rebuild. I think they're going to try and give it one more go with him. But if it doesn't work next season, then that's when you kind of give him a deal or kind of get him out of there and try and blow it up.
Yeah, that's probably the more likely scenario.
Because he's definitely worth to a team that's contending their first round pick and more easily.
I was thinking about Kemba Walker to the Spurs. That would be,
that'd be nice.
That would be a super nice fit. And then you get
that'd be pretty good.
That's has the same style. You can play within the offense. Just imagine it with better players around him. Like he doesn't have to score 52 points. In one game.
Yeah.
Kemba to the Pacers?
No.
Victor Oladipo needs the ball, dude.
He needs the ball.
Because they're getting Isaiah Thomas.
All right. So, what do you see from other point guards in the league, Raul? What do you think? What do you see from them that separates them from Kemba Walker? Like Kyrie Irving. If you think Kyrie Irving wants it more than Kemba Walker, what separates them?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Kemba does a lot of the same stuff that like Kyrie does, like in the gym. Maybe Kemba does go to the gym early, and maybe he does leave late. But like in late game situations, I mean, I just don't think he does enough to keep his team in the game, and that's something that these other point guards in the league will not allow that to happen. Like, you'll never see them get blown out multiple times like during the week. You know, I don't see that from Kemba. It's the team is a reflection of that.
Okay.
The team can only
I
go
agree.
so far because Kemba only takes them so far, and I don't see him wanting to take it like further.
I think he just needs someone to help him take it further. Like if he had somebody who was wilding out with him, I feel like if he had DeMar DeRozan, just like Kyle Lowry does. Kyle Lowry gets excited whenever he sees DeMar start hitting threes.
Right.
That's your boy. You see him start hitting threes, you're feeling good. Now I want to take everybody with us because together we can do this. I feel like that's what Kemba's missing. There's two ways you can lead. There's the way Chris Paul does verbally, and he speaks to everybody, he's being loud, and there's the way Kawhi does, where you see Kawhi doing everything he can by example.
Right.
And he needs someone else to lead with him. He just needs to move. If he's the verbal guy and he goes to with Kawhi, then that's cool. Or if you're saying that he's the guy in the locker room, that's the lead by example guy. He's quiet. He goes first. Shows up at the gym. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like,
So what makes a leader in the NBA then? Do you have to learn how to lead too?
it can be learned. I feel like leadership can be learned over time, or you just got it. Like Nate Robb. Dude, I follow Nate Robb. Wherever Nate Robinson told me to go, I would follow Nate Robb. Yo, don't even ask questions. There's no questions. What bank? Who?
What makes a leader of a team?
I mean, you got to consider many factors.
Yeah,
right?
and there are a lot of things that you consider.
Yeah.
It could be the most vocal, right?
Yeah,
It could be the
vocal.
one who leads by example.
No.
Could be the
No.
most experienced.
I feel like it has to be all three. I don't think any one of those works separately.
Okay.
It has to be a combination of at least those three things that you just mentioned. Obviously, if you have some good talent and if you show up at 4 a.m. and leave at 3 a.m. That helps.
Yeah.
Or you can have three guys that lead by example: Tim Duncan, Tony
Yeah, like
Parker,
3
Brown.
alphas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's you
You
gotta
need-
have more than one. You can't just have Kemba.
So who's a leader for you right now in the NBA? Name one.
Not obvious. Can't be obvious. No finalists from the last 3 years.
Chris Paul. He is the ultimate point guard. He bails them out when they need. When they all look at him, he can bail them out. He gives everybody the ball, so everybody's happy. And I think one of the most underrated things is accountability. So if you can't make that shot, I'm never gonna pass you the ball. You know what I'm saying?
You got to put the work.
You got to put in the work. You got to earn it. And that's what he does too with all the teams he's been on. Is he's made every guy accountable and made them perform each time. And on top of everything we spoke about as having in a leader, man, Chris Paul's it for me.
Yep, I agree.
I'd follow him to battle every single time.
Okay,
I think Rondo's a good leader.
I think so too. Good.
Rondo's a pretty good leader.
Agreed.
Especially ever since DeMarcus went out. I think a lot. I mean, obviously Anthony Davis has been having monster lines, and Anthony Davis is a leader on the Pelicans too. But I think Rondo does a really good job of making sure everybody's trying to do the right things, right plays, making sure everybody's like focused.
Yeah, I think Rondo does the same thing where he keeps everyone accountable too.
Yeah,
and I think what he did with the Bulls last year really impressed me. Where Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler were calling out all the young players and whatnot, and then he's like, "Dude, what are you guys talking about?" Like,
when have you seen Kemba hold anybody accountable?
Okay, fair. Yeah.
When have you ever seen Kemba pull Dwight Howard to the side and be like, "Hey, let's go"? When have you ever seen him call a team huddle together? After a timeout or whatever, or in between timeouts. Okay. I've never seen Kemba Walker get everybody together and say whatever he needs to say, pep talk, or just telling everybody what to do or whatever.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole leadership conversation, I feel like you can't have two either. That's another thing.
Yeah, you have to.
No, that's the thing. You can only have one.
Yeah, exactly. That's
you can't have more than one. If you have one guy that's super vocal, you can't have a second one that's the same way. They're going to clash, and it's going to end ugly. Also, sometimes you can have a coach that's very vocal and holds people extremely accountable, like a Pop or even Carlisle.
That's what made the Spurs work for sure.
Right, and the Rondo example, when he was on the Mavs, we all know what happened there. Two alphas, two vocal leaders kind of clashing.
I was gonna say there's one thing that no one talks about in the NBA as far as being a leader, and that's, I know it's not a current player, but Allen Iverson was known as the answer. Whenever you have questions in game, like what's gonna happen with the ball, who's supposed to get it, am I supposed to kick it out, who needs to score, there's always an answer. Whenever Kobe got the ball, if it was a bucket, if it was a pass to Shaq, if it was a shot that needed to be made, if it just was a hard drive to the basket just to give your team momentum.
That separates good from great leaders, is that, they'll recognize...
They take it upon themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And regardless of what happens, it's on them.
Yeah.
And it's not on the team. It's not to the leader, it's not his team's fault. It's his fault only,
Okay, yeah. Now here's a small question, a little tangent. Who's leader of the Bulls right now?
Too early.
I agree.
Zach LaVine is garbage.
All right. If it's too early, then who can it be? Can it be anyone on this team?
I think right now the de facto leader is Hoiberg, and that's okay considering where they are in their development. Someone's going to have to step up eventually, and I can see Dunn doing it, maybe even Nwaba to a degree. Yeah. Obviously, he's more peripheral. He's kind of a complementary player. Maybe
he's going to be like the locker room guy.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah, but he's not going to. You need to lead by example, and unfortunately, he doesn't have enough talent to do that.
John might back me on this one. I have a feeling. I'm going to say Bobby Portis.
Yeah, a little bit, but my problem is he's a little bit emotionally unstable.
Right now he is, but I think. Hear me out on this. Last summer, the Bulls management asked a lot of the young guys, Jerry Grant, Denzel Valentine, Cameron Payne, to stay around the Berto Center to work out. You guys remember this?
The Advocate Center, my friend.
The Advocate Center, sorry.
Asshole.
Wow, Berto Center.
Berto Center.
They asked him to stay around the Advocate Center and whatnot, and Bobby Portis was the one who was, kind of egging him on and, really working with him. And, I mean, they were all working out together. But then Bobby really took it personal that Nico didn't attend.
Clearly,
and then he punched him because of that moment when he punched him, everyone kind of gathered around Bobby, and that really kind of said to me that these guys really trust him, and they kind of want to, believe what he's saying. And I think he can kind of grow into a leader for this team. I really do. I think the Bulls value him really high. And I wouldn't be shocked if the front office asked the entire team to do the same thing this summer, where they ask all the young players to stick around Chicago and stick around the Advocate Center and work out together.
The leader of this team needs to be Markkanen. If he has to take that Dirk leadership role where everything swirls around him and everybody's involved in his world in the locker room,
okay,
and that's the way to go.
I think eventually it's got to come to both Dunn and Markkanen.
I agree.
Dunn has to be one of the leaders just to show that his toughness, that he can hold people accountable. He needs to show by example that he's a leader because he's going to be going out there and guarding some of the best guards in the NBA.
Yeah.
And so the team needs to see that, we could trust this guy. He's doing the right things.
Do you think he can do this similar style as like Chris Paul can, where he's getting guys in the right spots? He's holding them accountable, and that they can rely on him in the end of the game.
That depends on how smart he is as a basketball player. I mean,
I think it depends on his development too, and
how he develops. It's all going to depend on how he develops. And Chris Paul knows where everybody should be. Chris Dunn could definitely fill that role.
That's another one where, and I get your Chris Dunn, just because if he's here, I feel as though he can be a leader, but I don't believe he's going to be here. I feel like Markkanen is gonna be here, no matter out of all the people that are on the team now, Markkanen's gonna be here. So it's gonna have to start there because that's your whole team, that's your whole culture, that's where it's got to start. And if Dunn is here, great. Laurie is a quiet lead by example guy, then Chris Dunn is talking on the floor.
We'll see what happens this summer. This is a big summer for this Bulls team.
Summer 18.
Summer 18, big summer for this team. We got to develop, got to see who's going to be the leader next year for real. I think any of those guys can have an opportunity to do it that we mentioned, really. All right, now we're going to totally switch gears here to one of our favorite segments, Hall of Famer, Hall of Lamer.
That's right. And tonight's
Hall of Famer / Lamer is
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
Didn't he make the playoffs
every year?
I think he's been in the playoffs every single year of his career. Yeah,
Horford was always one of the go-to guys on every team that he's been on.
I mean, the game just comes to him. He gets everything done.
But he's never been the guy, even in college.
Do you need to be the guy to be in the Hall of Fame? That's right.
That's not the argument.
Okay, so let's go over Al Horford's stats real quick. All right, so Al Horford's stats in his 11th year right now, 14.2 points a game for his career average.
That's not good.
That's pretty low, but 52% field goal percentage on only 11.4 attempts a game. That is remarkably low for a player who averages 14 points a game. 8.6 rebounds. His per player efficiency rating is 18.8. It's not bad. Win share his high was at 10.9 when he was in Atlanta, and his value over a replacement player is 30.3 for his career, which is we're going to compare to Blake Griffin. Okay, just because Blake Griffin was someone that we all voted should be in the Hall of Fame on one of our shows. 21.5 points a game, 50% field goal percentage on 16.2 attempts a game, 9.2 rebounds, rather the same. His per is 22.4, win share high of 12.2, and his value over replacement player for his career, 27.6.
No.
Al Horford's a no for you.
He's definitely a no for me. For someone of his caliber, he's going to need to win multiple ships. And even though you use Blake Griffin as an example, I don't think that's very fair. They're different players. They have different offensive games. I think a more fair comparison, and I've used it in the past, good old Sheed. As far as production, they're comparable. As far as value to the team, they're comparable. And Sheed won one ship, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. Therefore, Al Horford, if he wants to get into the Hall of Fame, needs to win multiple ships.
I'm going to go to Garnick's point here. For Rasheed Wallace, we're going to say his career stats here. Again, exactly the same as Al Horford, 14.4 points a game.
Yep.
Crazy. 6.7 rebounds a game.
A little less.
Had 14.4 points a game on 46% shooting, much lower than Horford, on 12 attempts a game.
No one looks at field goal percentage when they're evaluating people for Hall of Fame.
Yes, you do. His per was 15.5, Horford's is 18. His win share, his high for his win share is 2.3.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Come on, man. Horford's got to be considered. And his value of replacement player is 6.9.
You need a ship. You need 2 ships.
Absolutely not. I'm saying Horford's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. I think it depends on what your criteria is. And for me, he doesn't meet the criteria. I don't think anyone averaging 14 points a game should be in the Hall of Fame unless they're averaging 14 rebounds at the same time.
I'm going to go Hall of Famer. I like Al Horford. I think he always played his role everywhere that he went really, really well. Making it in the playoffs all the time. And then also, if you compare him to Blake Griffin, Al Horford made the conference finals how many times? He's going to make it this year probably.
Twice.
3 times.
3 times.
Did Atlanta get there twice, or was it once? They got there once and lost to the Cavs.
I think based off consistency over his career, I give him the Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna say, without the championship, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's a good player, but like he doesn't do enough for me. No, not really, unless he wins the championship. He doesn't do enough for me.
Okay.
Here's the argument I kind of feel about this is Al Horford's now been in the playoffs 10 times.
Okay.
And he just got set with Boston. He's going to be in Boston until 2020. Now he's going to be in Boston with Kyrie for, we'll say, 2 years with Kyrie, Gordon Hayward coming back. So they're guaranteed to at least get to the conference finals. Now he's been in the playoffs every year since he started being in Atlanta. And now he's going to be going through the playoffs in Boston. And I can only imagine that even if he doesn't go to Boston after 2020, he's going to find a team where he thinks he can win. Right. But impacting a game by winning is something different, and you should reward winning, even though he hasn't won a title yet. We will see what happens as that goes on. If I think about who's the best center in the East, I would say Al Horford's been the best center of the East for the last at least 5 years. So when I think about Hall of Fame, I think about who was the most dominant person in that position during a period of time. And that would be Al Horford at center.
The Hall of Fame always rewards consistency. If he gives you 3 more seasons of what he's done, 3 more solid seasons in Boston, and then maybe he tails off, he's going to Hall of Fame. I don't even think I think it's not even a consideration. I think Rasheed Wallace, the comparison with Rasheed, I think is much lower in advanced stats show that Rasheed's wasn't that good.
Okay, well, when you get to the point where the people that are familiar with advanced stats get to decide who goes into the Hall of Fame, then maybe he has a shot. But in the interim, that's not going to happen.
I think it's happening closer than you think right now because advanced stats are what GMs look at all the time. So that's what I'm saying. Is that Al Horford has more of a chance because if that happens. And I think he has a chance anyway. I think he's proven the longevity in his career has been excellent. Really has. He's been steady as hell.
So 1 no and 4 yeses?
No, I was a no.
Okay,
Johnson,
2 no's and 3 yeses. All right, I guess we'll settle this in
5 to
15
1?
years.
Yes, we'll see.
Are we doing this 5-1 thing?
It's going to have to be more than $20.
All right, let's wrap up here. What do you guys think?
Wrap it up.
All right.
Solid pod tonight. What are the final thoughts of the starting 5?
I got 2 final thoughts.
Nope.
Go ahead.
You can only have 1.
No, the other day I caught the New Orleans versus Houston game, and there was a play where Drew Holiday had his hand on
I've seen that
on
play.
his own chest, and he had his left hand out, just out there, and James Harden jumped into his hand, and Drew Holiday didn't even touch him. He moved
Drew
it.
Holiday is playing defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He moved it out of the way, but the refs thought that he touched him. But still, James Harden jumped into his hand. Can we play some defense? Can we let these guys play some defense? Guards are getting a bunch of calls. Like, the same game. Anthony Davis, there's guards trying to guard him, hacking away at him, and no calls. That's probably why a lot of people have a lot of problems with the refs. Because there's just no consistency whatsoever.
And you can't see everything that's going on down low.
But you can, though.
No, you can't.
You realize that there's one ref underneath the basket, and then he has to see 4 to 5 guys at one time, and one huge guy might be blocking his vision.
And
that's how it goes.
You have to be physical.
No, but on that play, there was a ref who was clear in sight of saw what happened.
That play was bogus, but in general, it's hard to call down there because you want these guys boxing out and throwing bodies, but if they throw an elbow or extend an arm, you have to call it.
Oh, wait, I got one more.
Oh, God.
I got one more. Hey, yo, OKC's coming. OKC is coming, 4th seed. Couldn't be in a better position to be in the 4th seed. Corey Brewer. Yo, Russell Westbrook. I heard you like to go 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
You got a 10
So
second
do
count?
I. Oh, what? You didn't think so? Yeah, dude, this guy's going so fast all the time. He makes it so much easier to play the Thunder basketball that they should be. Corey Brewer can hit open threes, can hit free throws, and is really good at just running the fast break.
Okay. Corey Brewer.
What?
Yeah, okay, Zach
You
LaVine,
got- yeah.
DeMar DeRozan. This isn't even that ridiculous.
I always like Corey Brewer. Like,
So good.
back to Florida. Reunited with his college coach. That's what's up.
He dunked on Derek Fisher.
He did. I forgot about
He
that.
destroyed Derek Fisher.
He did.
YouTube Corey Brewer dunks on Derek Fisher if you
remember
want to
that.
see something nasty.
Oh,
Corey
that's
Brewer, man, I'm telling you,
nasty.
he's a big difference maker.
All right, I want to talk about something. As a Sox fan, right now
Oh,
the
man.
pro scene is looking hella weak in Chicago. The Bulls are obviously rebuilding. The Bears have been pretty awful for a while now.
Yep.
Sox rebuilding. Blackhawks fell off somehow. So my point is, Loyola. Like, that shit is amazing right now.
Yeah.
Illinois was in the finals in 05, and then nothing happened in the whole state. None of the college teams did anything in any sport. And this is the first time Illinois has been on the map for any sports reason in the college game in a long time. Let's get some shit going with basketball or some shit. I mean, we got DePaul, we got UIC, we got Loyola. This should be more routine. That's all I want to say.
I'll say it.
Yeah, John Diego.
Yes, baby, we're Sweet 16. Yes, baby. And I just want to piggyback on Garnick's point about that whole having Loyola take the whole city by storm, and this was like, I never had any like enjoyment. Like, not to say I didn't enjoy college, but like when the basketball team was bad when I was attending school. So to see your alma mater do something good, and like you were part of that student body, that's like an awesome feeling. Because low key, that's why I probably went to Loyola to experience like Division I NCAA sports, and just to see it national, and the way those cities reacting to it, I love it, and I'm proud to be a Rambler, class of 2010. Let's go.
I don't know. My final thoughts. Last couple weeks, last 2-3 podcasts, I haven't been here. But the worst thing about not being here is how much Eddie loves Zach LaVine. For all of you listening, I understand that you probably don't love Zach LaVine's dick as much as Eddie does. But I'm happy we took some time to talk about everybody else in the NBA, because Eddie's obscene obsession with Zach LaVine's dick. That's my final thought.
Zach LaVine's dick is alright. I've seen better.
Let's see bigger.
He didn't say bigger, he said better.
Yeah, better. Alright, so...
What does that mean?
Girth.
What is girth? Curvature?
It just looks
No,
nicer.
it's a decent dick. I mean, I've seen better, though. My final thought is going to piggyback off of your shit about Loyola and why D1 Chicago sports haven't been good. It's just these national schools, they just come into Chicago and they just recruit like hell. They're athletes kids when they're in 8th grade. Nogel Eastern from Evanston last year. Michigan State, Purdue, they were all in Nogel. They were talking to Nogel when he was in 8th grade. When he was in 7th and 8th grade. And U of I and Northwestern got in when he was a freshman. But then it was too late. The D1 programs in the state have been terrible for years. Hopefully it changes. Anyway, thank you for listening. Tonight's episode number 18. By the way, we forgot to say that at the beginning. Remember, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Grinder, Eddie at least.
Grinder.
Thank you all for listening.
Remember to rate and review us on any of the podcast directories that are listed. And email us, contestlayuspodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook at contestlayup1.
Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook now and on Instagram. Instagram is coming too. There's going to be lots of stuff coming in the near future. Be on the lookout for the sticky stuff. On every post, on every wall.
All right. right, everybody. Have a great Monday. Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Bye.